Hi all. I haven't been here in a while. I thought I would try another video related to KDE in terms of the settings that there's so many to work with that some people get lost with the amount of settings that go into setting up KDE. But once it's configured, you're a happy camper or should be. So today, this is for all KDE distros. At least these settings should be universal. And I'll just begin with showing my computer in terms of info when I'm running. This is Netrunner Core or Debian based KDE. And this is basically showing you the Plasma version, the QT version, all of the things, the hardware, the computer I'm using, which is a used computer I bought at a surplus school district sale, and it cost me $30. And it's a workstation, which would have been, I think, $1,500 when it was new. So I added additional RAM. It came with 8, and I added another 8. It had this AMD graphics card, and I believe it's using it at the moment, to the fact that it's listing it there, although I may not have implemented full use of the video card, but everything seems to work fine, and I'm not a whiz at installing the various drivers. I do when I can, and if there's a difficulty, sometimes I will, I will avoid it. Anyway, moving on, let me bring out something that'll help me kind of guide me along here in terms of describing priorities or what I'm trying to show all of you here. So we'll begin with an important thing to install that some people forget about is you have your router, which is a hardware firewall, and then you have your software firewall, which I believe in most versions, if not all versions of KDE, is not enabled or installed. So it's up to you to do that. So the first thing you would do is go into your start menu. Either go into Discovery if you have Discovery as a package manager, or Synaptic if it's installed, or if you care to install it, click on Synaptic and look for either type in firewall, or if you're familiar with UFW, type in UFW. I'm not going to go into describing how to enable it. That I would suggest Googling online. But otherwise, these are kind of the priorities of things that I might consider if I was installing KDE. And so I'd start with the firewall. Then I would begin with the start menu. The default menu looks different than this. And so let me just kind of show you here. Let me unlock widgets, alternatives, and you'll see simple menu, application menu, application launcher, dashboard. I am using I'm using the application menu at this point, and actually it may be the simple menu, I forget, but anyway, it's one of those. So and you can leave the default if you wish. I just prefer this particular menu. I think it allows you to get where you want to go, recent documents, recent applications. It's laid out quite nicely, and you can configure your how you want to lock, how you want to hibernate, or any of these things. These are adjustable. You can move these around, and then if you right click on them, you can either add them or remove them from favorites, this is considered your favorites area, this whole column. So, and these are applications that I've added in here. So, like reboot, don't want to do that. Just basically there's so many settings, but ultimately once it's done, it enables you to really be efficient with whatever you want to do in KDE. So I highly recommend trying to learn some of the details, because in the long run it will pay off. So anyway, there's your start menu. Then the next thing I would suggest is turn your Numlock on if you care to have the Numlock on, and that's under Plasma Startup. Here, I'm going to lock this for now. So you go into your start menu, go into settings. You can type in just type in Numlock, and it'll lead me or you to the input devices. The first tab will show you hardware, and what I've done is click turn on Numlock. Now, it is possible you may need to install Numlock in addition to turning it on, and you can find out whether you have it installed either by turning this on and seeing if the light will engage, your Numlock light on the keypad, and then be aware too, you may have to reboot once you've turned it on. I'm not sure if it's immediate off the top. And if you do need to install it, then just go into Discovery or Synaptic Package Manager and type in the word Numlock, which is listed there, and install it, reboot, and then just engage it here if you need to do it that way. So that's the third item. Now, the fourth item, adjust GNOME application style GTK settings. That, go into your system settings, and then you can just type in GTK if you want, then click on Plasma Tweaks, and I'm going to enlarge this so you can see what's going on. And this is important to get the appearance of your app so that everything is kind of theme oriented. It'll make sure that everything is looking the best it can. So I'm using the Breeze Dark theme, and so under GTK, you want to engage these two as dark. You also want to enable or click on GTK3. I've also adjusted my fonts to a certain size, and this is where this is an additional area to adjust the size for GTK. And then down here, which is kind of important, is to just make sure the cursor theme lists Breeze, icon theme, Breeze Dark, and then the fallback theme is where you would want to put it under. Don't put Breeze Dark or Breeze. You want like high color, something that's going to, I'll give you an example. If I'm using Dead Beef, which is a player, you'll notice these white stop, play, pause. If I change this, these could actually become dark, and you'll barely see them. And that's why you're implementing this in this GTK themes, is to make sure that things look properly when they're rendered properly, visibly for you. And that's why I'm mentioning this area. Anyway, moving on. Close that out. Disable background services. Now that depends on what you're running. Let me type in background. That brings up the startup shutdown area, and you'll notice it says background services, and the areas are highlighted here. And what I've done is disable the things that I don't need or want. And I don't have Bluetooth. I don't launch the SysGuard with Control Escape. I'm not even sure if it runs in the background, but I've disabled that. I also disabled touchpad. I don't have a touchpad. Depending on your KDE distro, you may even have Volt. It's a security Vault, I guess is how you pronounce it. If that's in here and you're not going to encrypt files, then you could also disable that, but it's not even running here. So that's under background services. Let me close that out. KDE Wallet is used for security. It's an additional way to secure how you access applications or things online. And I don't use it. And if you don't want to use it, just make sure you go into your settings again. You can put in, I guess, wallet will get you there, which is account details. Click on that. And you'll notice this says KDE Wallet configuration. If it's enabled, just click it. That'll, if it's enabled, it'll be highlighted. So just uncheck it. Click apply. You may need to reboot. I'm not sure off the top. And disable KDE Wallet if you so choose. Turn off desktop Toolbox. Now that is there's a little hamburger menu that you'll see in the corners. And now let me see if I'll try to enable it here. So you go to configure desktop, under tweaks, show the desktop toolbox. I'm going to hit apply. Now you'll see that little hamburger menu, and it just gives you some additional features that you can access in other ways. And I just don't like it, so I just disable it here. And if you want to disable it, just proceed that way. Uncheck it, click apply, it's gone. And let me go back to what else? The global menu. Now there's two ways that I'm aware of enabling it. Now the global menu, I'm using it and I have it configured at the top in auto hide. So what it does is the global menu you'll notice that there is no menu listed in LibreOffice, is because that's what the global menu is for. It allows you to create a menu that is for all your different applications. That is either you can show this permanently up here as a bar at the top, but I prefer to have it auto hid or hidden, and so it's laid out this way for me. And I think I made it a little thinner. I just needed enough to show the text. And the only problem with global menu is that there are certain apps. An example would be if you install Opera, it's dead. There's nothing to show because it doesn't list. It's not Qt based or configured to show a global menu. So certain apps will not utilize the global menu, and this is one app. And I believe there might be another one here that doesn't. So just be aware of that. But otherwise, you can have a global menu in this format, and then there is another format. But I'll also show you how to enable it. So go into, here, let me put this back here. Go into your start menu. Actually, right-click on the start menu, unlock widgets, and then right-click again. You'll have panel options available to you once you unlock the widgets. And here you're just going to look for adding a panel, and then you're going to click on application menu bar. That would be your global menu. So that's if you want to, and I believe that would, depending on what panel is available or what part of the desktop is available, that it'll create the menu, and you'll have it available up here, or wherever whatever edge of the screen that you're not using. Anyway, that's one way. The other way is to let me lock this. The other way would be I've got my little sheets here to show me what to do. Plasma. Okay, so you want to go into Plasma Tweaks. So click on Settings. You can just type in Plasma. That's right there, Plasma Tweaks. Click on that. And then you'll see the first tab. What you want to do is click on the second tab, Fine Tuning. Actually, that is not it. Let me see. I thought it was here. I'm lost at the moment. Let's see if I can figure out where let me go back. We'll type in global, see what comes up. Global menu. It does bring up tweaks. I'm missing something that should be rendered here, and it's not coming up, so I'm not quite sure why. Anyway, there's another way to do it, and at the moment I'm not able to show you. But what it does is it just brings up a little hamburger menu that emulates the global menu that I have up above. And I may have to add it in the show notes to show you how you do that. But at the moment I'm not able to show you, so we'll move on. The last item I just wanted to show you was verifying checksums. That if you're downloading an ISO image and you want to verify checksums, I was unaware of this and discovered it just by tinkering, and I'll show you basically how that works. So if you download an ISO image and you want to burn it to a USB drive, I'll go into my Dolphin, go under downloads, and I put my ISOs, ones that you say you're testing out on an ISO image and you want to double check basically it's the fingerprints to verify that it's the file that you're actually downloading and the integrity of it. You just right click on an ISO, go to properties, left click, then go to checksums, and here you would just paste your checksum in here and then calculate, and it'll verify, and you want to match up your numbers obviously, so MD5 or SHA1. It gives you these three options. So very nifty, and I had never known this until recent, and I believe it's in all KDE. If not, it's definitely in Netrunner or Debian. So just thought I would share this with you as well. And that's about it. This was just a kind of an overview, and to try to help those trying to learn a little more about KDE, and hopefully I can help some of you out there. So thanks for watching.